Okay, so Emma's birthday is coming up really soon, and I wanted to make her a special birthday gift. For some lore on Emma, her favorite band of all time is My Chemical Romance. Great pick. We're also going to be seeing them in concert very, very soon after her birthday. So I figured the best thing to do for her My Chemical Romance themed birthday party is to make her a My Chemical Romance doll. And I think the best option for this is one that she has mentioned to me in private about wanting to make, which is Helena. Helena, I don't know if there's a specific way to pronounce it, but So I'm very excited to be making this doll for her, and I hope she loves it. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen how I prep my dolls time and time again, so I'm gonna quickly do that off camera. If you haven't seen it, you can check out one of my older videos. So to get started, I'm going to be painting her scalp black to match her new hair color. I'm going to be using Shimmerlock's nylon hair in the shade Nightmare. I definitely need to order some more though if I'm going to be rerooting this whole head. So while I'm waiting for that to come in the mail, let's get started on sewing her dress. I'm doing a high-low skirt in multiple tiers. The bottom is going to be red and the top will be in black. The top will be a form-fitted sweetheart neckline, so a very simple top. I've had this dress laying around as well that I don't really like how it fits me, but I think the black lace on it is really pretty, so I'm going to cut some of that off and add it on top of the skirt. And here's how the dress looks all finished. I didn't show the full sewing process or any of the patterns because I bought those from DG Requiem. If you want to check out their shop, I'll leave a link in the description. I also made a simple red belt that'll go around the waistband of the skirt, and then it has a snap closure in the back that later I will add a red bow with a little ribbon to clean up how that looks. Helena's dress has a loose gathering that I wanted to add to just the black layer of fabric as well as the lace, so I'm doing a quick hand sew of a loose gathering stitch, and in the photos it goes above the red sash part, but then the dress wouldn't be removable if I did that, so I'm just adding it to right below where the sash is. Her dress also seems to have some glitter on it, but I didn't really want to add some loose glitter because I was afraid it would get pretty chunky and make the whole fabric kind of stiff. So I'm just sporadically placing some little bedazzled black flatback, they're like the diamond painting beads or whatever you want to call them, and I like how it adds just a little hint of sparkle. Once her hair came, I finished doing the whole reroot off camera because it's again a process you guys have seen here plenty of times. And to seal the new hair into place, I make sure to add some Fabri-Tac on the inside of the head, and I spread that around with a Q-tip and let it dry overnight. I wanted to try this method before boil washing her hair by wrapping a piece of tape around the doll's head so that way the part line perfectly stays where I want it to be at. That way, like, some of the right side of the hair is not on the left and vice versa. And this helped a lot for separating the part line before I started the face up. And as usual, I'm using 100% acetone to clean up all the factory paint as best as I can. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but I feel like Skull Shore's Ghoulia was probably like the most overproduced Ghoulia doll of all time. I remember always going into Target and she would always be there ever since the line dropped. There was always a Skull Shore's Ghoulia somewhere on the shelf. Before I get started on the face up, I make sure to wash the vinyl clean of any acetone that might be remaining on the doll's face, and then give her a spray of Mr. Super Clear. And it was a little bit humid and then kind of cold outside while I was working on this face, so the Super Clear was not working very well with me the past few days. So I kind of just moved on from the mechanical pencil pretty quickly and got right into my acrylic paints, so apologies that this sketch layer is not super detailed. Because Helena doesn't have gray skin, I tried adding a little bit of chalk pastel in like a peachy tone to make her look a little less like fully zombie, but I feel like the zombiness kind of suits the vibe, so I kind of wanted to keep the gray. I then added a lot of red chalk pastel all around her eyes, as that is an important factor in her makeup look, so I just kept adding a couple layers of the red chalk pastel and blended that all the way around the top and bottom of her eyes. This took a couple layers of buildup. Again, my Mr. Super Clear wasn't really working super well with me while I was doing this face up, so it took extra sprays. I also added a tiny bit of black chalk pastel underneath her eyes, as it kind of looks like she has darker eyeshadow there, maybe like some eye bags or something to that effect. And then I'm moving on to my acrylic paints. Like I said, my sketch layer is not very opaque this time around, but I'm pretty comfortable with just using my acrylic paints. Once I'm done painting her eyelashes, I move on to her eyebrows, which I'm going to be using a dark brown acrylic paint for. So the whole time I've been working on this face up, I've been thinking about what color lipstick I'm going to give her, because in the video she has like the concealer lipstick, which I believe is for the like dead look. But listen, my favorite lipstick color to do on Gulia's face mold is black, and I felt like it really fits the emo gothic aesthetic that we're going for anyway, and her skin tone is gray, so she's very clearly a zombie-ish kind of look going on. So I wanted to make a little artistic change here and give her a black lip. I'm now moving on to the whites of the eyes. Even though I sketched out where I want her irises to be, I'm just filling in the entire inside of the eye shape, and then I will again sketch over the shapes of her irises later. I wanted to add a little bit more definition into her eyeshadow, so I'm kind of painting on a crease and lid with a dark red acrylic paint, and I kind of want to convey that that is where the color is most opaque, is closest to her eye. Now, I've been painting her facial expression to match the music video in a more Monster High art style. This tends to be a little bit difficult for me because I start to get freaked out by how it looks, and I start thinking it doesn't look like how I want it to look, because normally I just do like a neutral expression and not one that has more shocked looking eyes. It kind of looks a little creepy, but that's also the point. So it's kind of hard for me to like just do it and have faith in myself that it'll look fine in the end. But I'm painting the outline of the iris in black and then filling the iris in with a very light gray. It looks pretty white on camera, but in the photos later I think you'll be able to tell the difference. And then I'm kind of adding some shadow with darker gray and then painting the pupils in black. These pupils are a little small for my personal style, but again, I really wanted her to look like she does in the music video when she has that really shocked face. So I made them slightly bigger, but not too much. And then I'm adding some white highlights with my tiny little detail brush. I then gave the doll one final spray of Mr. Super Clear and then added some satin finish varnish to the eyes and lips. I, however, was still getting kind of freaked out by how the eyes looked, so I added one final little bit of shadow to add some depth into the eyes. I just felt like they were too bright and it was really freaking me out, so I added a little bit of black acrylic paint just into the top there to hopefully like tone down the brightness. I don't know. Then at this point I was much happier with how the face was looking, so I went ahead and took off the fabric wrap I have protecting her hair and we can get started on styling it. All I did for her hair was add a couple straw curlers in and then gave them a boil wash, then mixing in some cold water. Then I put the doll in the freezer for like an hour and then let that dry overnight outside of the freezer. And then hairspray the curls, take them out and brush through them, and then I have a beautiful hairstyle, which I didn't film the process of. The main accessory I have to make for this doll is a bouquet of roses. I swear I remember like most places selling like mini roses in their like fabric and craft section, but apparently I was wrong. Maybe it was at Joann's, rest in peace. I don't know. I couldn't find any, so I just bought these like little ribbon roses and some floral wire, and I'm wrapping the wire around the bottom ribbon for the leaves of the roses, and then just cutting those to the length that I want. And then I put them all together and wrapped a little ribbon bow around them to make a tiny mini doll bouquet of roses. The shoes I have for this doll are some beautiful ballet shoes sculpted by ZTudio42 over on Instagram. If you want to check them out, they do some great sculpting work. I'm painting the shoes black, and then I added some ribbon to tie them around the doll's legs. I also bought some SVG files off of Etsy that I will leave linked in the description for a doll-sized coffin box. I then cut this out with my laser cutter. Did not film that because that thing scares me. I'm afraid I'm gonna set my house on fire every time I use it. But then I just super glued all the pieces together, and then I have this beautiful coffin box that fits my dolls perfectly. I feel like this is like the perfect display item for monster high dolls in general, or if you have like a custom one or like your favorite one you want to put on the wall or something in a little coffin box. I think that's awesome. It looks really cool, and it was really easy to put everything together as well. And the way the lid is designed, it'll like perfectly fit into place, so it's not just gonna like fall off if you sit the coffin upright. Very, very cool. Love this. I kind of want to use it again for like some of my favorite dolls or something. And here's me testing the fit using a spare monster high doll, which I may or may not be customizing very soon. This is a little sneak peek. As you can see, I have a lot of progress made on this one. And then I took the box outside and gave it a couple coats of some black spray paint. And here is how the finished product of the coffin box turned out. I'm very happy with how this looks, and with that, our full custom is now done. So let's do the reveal, shall we? So I completely forgot to record me making the veil for this doll, which was also kind of an important piece to the whole doll, but you know, it's there. I also added some fabric to the back of the coffin just to give a little contrast. Since she does have the black hair and black dress, I thought a black coffin would make this very hard to photograph. I'm overall very, very happy with how this doll turned out. I hope Emma loves her as well, as this is a gift for Emma. As always, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of my Patreon members. If you're over on Patreon, you will be able to get videos just like this one early before they are up publicly on my YouTube channel, as well as early access to custom dolls available in my shop. While this doll will not be in the shop, I do plan on putting the next doll I'm working on up in the shop. And there might even be some exclusive Patreon videos coming very soon. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!